Most people think manipulation is about lies. It's not. Manipulation happens when someone else controls your reactions, before you even notice. And the reason it works so easily is because most of you are predictable. You react the same way every time. Same triggers, same responses, same patterns. Which means anyone paying attention already owns you. The trait that makes someone impossible to manipulate isn't intelligence. It's not charisma, it's stillness.
そこの君
The ability to pause between stimulus and response.
俺
That gap is where freedom exists, and most people have never even felt it. If you want to become unreadable, untouchable, completely immune to control, then listen closely, because what I'm about to explain will change the way you see
Ayanokoji
every
Kiyotaka
conversation, every relationship,
よろ
every
しくお願
move
いしま
someone
す
makes around you. Like this video if you're ready to stop being controlled. Comment, I'm ready, if you refuse to stay predictable, and share this with someone who still reacts without thinking. Now let's begin. Manipulation starts with observation. Someone watches how you behave under pressure, how you respond to praise, how you react to insults, how quickly you explain yourself when questioned. All of that is data. And the moment they recognize your pattern, you become a tool they can use. The reason I remain unmanipulable is simple. I don't give them data. I don't react emotionally. I don't justify my decisions to people who haven't earned access. I don't move until I've calculated every possible outcome. And by the time they think they understand me, I've already shifted. Emotional control is the foundation of psychological immunity, not suppression. Control, there's a difference. Suppression is pretending the emotion doesn't exist. Control is acknowledging it, analyzing it, and deciding whether it deserves influence over your next move. Most people are ruled by their feelings. Anger makes them loud. Fear makes them hesitate. Desire makes them desperate. Guilt makes them obedient. And manipulators exploit every single one of those states because they know the emotional person will always choose comfort over strategy. I don't. When provoked, I observe. When praised, I measure intent. When insulted, I collect information. Because every reaction someone tries to force out of me is a confession about what they're trying to accomplish. The second rule of staying unmanipulable is unpredictability. Not randomness. Unpredictability. Randomness is chaos. Unpredictability is controlled variance. It means your responses don't follow a script. Your decisions don't align with assumptions. Your behavior doesn't repeat in patterns someone can study and exploit. People expect confrontation when challenged. I give silence. They expect explanation when questioned. I give redirection. They expect emotion when pressured. I give analysis. And every time their expectation fails, their strategy collapses. That's the advantage. Manipulation requires predictability. If you remove that variable, the entire system breaks. Detachment is a language the world doesn't understand, yet it speaks louder than rage ever could. The moment a person learns to separate emotion from evaluation, they become untouchable. Weak minds call it coldness because they fear what they can't predict. But clarity demands distance. When calm becomes instinct, chaos loses leverage. Ayanokoji's advantage isn't intelligence, it's emotional neutrality. He doesn't chase approval, doesn't defend his silence, doesn't explain his choices. That's why no one can control him, because control depends on reaction, and he gives none.
そこの
Every
君
manipulator needs feedback to refine their tactics. Take
俺
that away, and they suffocate in uncertainty. Detachment is not the absence of humanity, it's the evolution of it. A detached mind sees truth without distortion, acts without guilt, and walks away without noise.
綾小路
The
清隆で
ultimate
す
power isn't to dominate others, it's to remain unbroken when they try to
よろしくお願いします。
dominate you. Most of you think being open is strength. It's not. Openness without discernment is just handing people the manual to your mind. They learn what excites you, what offends you, what controls you, and the moment they have that information, you're no longer operating independently. You're reacting inside a framework they designed. I don't let that happen. I share selectively, I reveal strategically, and I never give someone leverage unless it serves a purpose. I've already mapped 3 moves ahead. Detachment is not cruelty, it's clarity. When you stop needing validation from others, their opinions lose power. When you stop fearing judgment, their criticism becomes irrelevant. When you stop seeking approval, their manipulation tactics have nothing to grip. That's freedom. Not loneliness, not coldness. Freedom. the ability to move through the world without being pulled by invisible strings someone else is holding. Here's what most people don't understand. Manipulators need your emotional investment. They need you to care what they think. They need you to fear consequences. They need you to crave acceptance, because all of those needs create dependency, and dependency is control. Remove the need, remove the control. The third principle is patience. Manipulation relies on urgency. Decide now. React quickly. Don't think too long. All of those commands are designed to bypass logic and trigger emotion, because emotional decisions are easy to predict and easier to exploit. I never rush. When pressured to respond immediately, I delay. When forced into a yes or no decision, I reframe. When told something is urgent, I evaluate whether that urgency benefits me or them, and 9 times out of 10, it benefits them. Patience is a weapon. The longer you wait, the more information you collect, the more they reveal, the clearer their strategy becomes, and by the time they expect an answer, you've already seen the entire board while they're still moving pawns. Self-mastery is the final layer. You can't be manipulated if you've already mastered yourself. If your emotions don't control you, if your desires don't dictate your decisions, if your ego doesn't demand validation, then external forces have no entry point. That's the state most people never reach, because it requires discipline they're unwilling to practice. It requires solitude they're afraid to sit in. It requires honesty they're not ready to face. But if you want to be impossible to manipulate, you have to build that foundation. You have to train yourself to pause before reacting, to question before accepting, to calculate before committing, because once that becomes instinct, no one can move you without your permission. Here's the reality. Most people operate on autopilot. They respond the way they've always responded. They follow scripts written by culture, family, fear, and habit. And because of that,
そこの君
they're easy to predict,
え
easy to influence,
俺
easy to control. I don't operate on autopilot. Every word I say is intentional. Every silence I hold is strategic. Every decision I make has been filtered through logic,
と
probability,
綾小路
and
清
outcome
隆です
analysis. And that level of control isn't something
よ
you're
ろしく
born
お
with,
願いしま
it's
す
something you build. One disciplined choice at a time. That's the trait. Not a skill, a state where your mind is calm. Your movements are calculated, and your presence is unshakable, where no threat, no praise, no guilt, no pressure can pull you off course, because you've removed every handle they could have used to steer you. People will call you cold. Let them. People will say you've changed. Good. People will wonder why you're suddenly unreachable. Perfect. Because that confusion means
そこの
you're no
君
longer operating inside their framework. You're no longer playing a game they designed. You're no longer controllable. And once you reach that state, manipulation becomes impossible. Not because you're invincible,
え
but because you've made yourself unreadable. And
綾
unreadable
小路
people
清隆
can't
で
be
す
predicted.
え
And unpredictable people can't be
よろしくお
controlled.
願いします
Stay calm, stay detached, stay 3 steps ahead, and remember, the one who reacts least controls most.